Hi, and welcome to this episode of the Flex with Aaliyah. Today we're talking about nutrition travel. On a previous episode, we had talked about road trips. Today we're actually going to be talking about plane trips. There's a little bit of a difference when you're on the road and you can pack a cooler and ice, bring liquids. Whole different scenario when you're on a plane and you're traveling further distance. So if you like to travel, whether as a competitive athlete or you're a travelier and like to explore the world, but are health conscious, this is a perfect episode to take a listen to. And I'm going to kick things off with a quote. Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. We all live life, and to a degree, we want to live healthy lives. That doesn't mean we want to have boring meals, but we want to be healthy. We want to be conscious about our weight, how our body is processing what we are putting into it. And success, like the quote says, is a combination of all these small steps and strides that we're doing on a consistent basis. So if I'm consistently ingesting fast food, things that are high in sugar, fried food, all the sum of my eating is going to be on the unhealthy side, where I can indulge and have some fried food or some takeout every now and then, but not in my consistent diet. My consistent diet would be natural foods. Certain things are cooked, some raw vegetables, lightly steamed vegetables, fruits, adequate amount of protein, and a healthy amount of fat. And following that, when I introduce something unhealthy, it doesn't negatively affect me as much because it's not a normal part of my diet. I might notice that maybe I got a little bloated. Maybe my stomach didn't process it as nicely as I would like, and I'm running to the bathroom. That's a possibility as well, but I'm not going to put on weight because of one snack or one meal that I ingest that is unhealthy during the week. So then when we're traveling and flying, how do we continue to have these good small efforts on a consistent basis? Well, for me, and I tend to travel a lot. I do like to drive because it provides more flexibility for my schedule, but some places are just too far. Well, I mean, in my life, nothing's really too far because I've driven to Missouri and that took like 13 hours. So some people that might be too far, but I guess when you have goals, there's no limits to where you'll drive to. But most of the time, if it's that far or further, I'll fly if I can. And when I travel that far, I can't bring a cooler filled with ice and all the essentials I would normally take. I'd take some egg whites, some things that might not be cooked that I could cook later. On plane travel, I want to have easily accessible snacks that I can munch on. Maybe I'll bring an assortment of vegetables. Yes, I like my vegetables. Some of you are anti-vegetables, but not me. And I tend to eat a lot of green vegetables. I love my veggies. So I'll bring celery sticks, ones that are already cut. Either I've bought them and I cut the edge off, clean them, stick them in a Ziploc bag, take them with me, or they've already been pre-cut. They're very easy to take. They'll help hydrate me because they're mainly made up of water, and also the strands on the celery help clear out your digestive system. So that is also why I eat them. Then I would take these mini cucumbers, super easy to store in a Ziploc bag and take in my carry-on bag. I'll also take green peppers. Sometimes I'll cut them up beforehand into strips, or I'll just bring a whole green pepper like it's an apple. Yep, I'm the weird person who'll just bite into a green pepper like it's a fruit. And I don't care, I'll be the weird person because I know I'm eating something that I like and it tastes good and it makes me feel good about myself. And there's no shame in that. Sometimes I'll take fruits but I tend to stay away from the fruits just because they get smushed in my bag. Like blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, they just get smushed and I'm a little depressed eating them. I might bring an apple, like a whole apple. I probably won't cut it up because I got to reach my hand into a bag, and then all the juices make my hand sticky, and I'm not a fan of that. So I'll bring a whole apple. I'll stick it in a Ziploc bag maybe. That way I can take a bite, stick it back in. Or once I take a couple bites and I don't want it anymore, I'll just dispose of it. So I have an assortment of veggies. I have apple. And that's just my snacks for the plane ride. If I'm being extremely prepared, I will make a meal. So I might take some of my chicken or some of my red meat. I'll put it in a Tupperware container with steamed broccoli, maybe some rice. Sometimes I'll bring salad, and it's already prepared, and I can stick it in my carry-on so that way I get hungry. I can just take it out when I want. And you know I'm bringing my rice cakes. I love my rice cakes. Super easy to travel with. I need carbs in my diet, and they taste good. And if you want, there's several flavors that are my favorite. The top one that I choose is the sun-dried tomato basil rice cake. It's delicious. And then there's white cheddar. Those are my two go-to rice cakes. And they have everything. There's caramel, there's chocolate, there's lightly salted, plain, apple, cinnamon. So they have a wide variety. And I usually bring those. I also sometimes don't fly really well, so I have to continually snack. And if I have to continually snack, I want to choose something healthy. I'm not entirely sure why I don't travel that well. Sometimes it's fine, sometimes it's not. I get a little nauseous, not a big deal, or I get headaches, but then the snacking a little bit helps tone that down. If I'm going to a competition, I don't want to overeat. I don't want to feel too unhealthy by bringing chocolate and nuts and chips, some stuff that's going to be unhealthy, not satisfying, and higher in fat and carbs and less nutritious. I will say for some people bringing certain trail mixes or nuts, it's a great snack. Now, if you eat too much of it, there's a lot of fat in the nuts, and also nuts can stop your stomach up. So I just usually stay away from them when I travel. And that's, like I said, all those snacks usually are in my carry-on backpack so I can access them. I will also bring a couple Ziploc bags. So if I go into a lounge, I will fill things up into my Ziploc bags that I can take and eat later when I've arrived wherever I've gone. I obviously want to choose healthy things. In the past, I've taken salad, some fruit. There's definitely been times where I've taken some rice and chicken, and I just stick it in the Ziploc bag, and then I have a lunch or a dinner when I land. Easy peasy, right? That's one way to go about doing it. I also love my Tupperware containers. They take up a little bit more space than Ziploc bags, so I will pack maybe a couple meals. I'll throw some oats in a Ziploc bag so I can make oatmeal in the morning, especially if it's on the day of the race, and that's already taken care of. I'm not particularly fond of the oatmeal packets, so I bring my own personal oats. Super easy. Ziploc bag. They don't take up a lot of space, and I have them at the hotel for breakfast. For another meal, like I said, Tupperware. I put some cooked vegetables in it, a protein, because that's usually what I'm going to be lacking throughout the day. So I want to make sure I get that in, not in excess, just what I normally eat. And usually when you land, you're kind of hungry, and I don't want to run off to a shitty little store and get something that's not going to be satisfying. So then most of the day I'm going to be trying to chase that feeling of satisfaction, and that's not always the best way to handle things. And so since I know that about myself, I prepare in advance. Now, if I'm staying there longer, wherever I am, and I can't bring that many meals because I am traveling, so I don't want too much food to be sitting out too long, I make sure I'm in a hotel that has a kitchenette so I could make something. I can go get some raw meat, come back and cook it. Or I can get a bag of frozen vegetables, cook it in the microwave. I always utilize the grocery store, whether it's buying a rotisserie chicken, some raw meats to then make in the kitchenette or at an Airbnb. So picking where I'm staying is a conscious decision, partly because of my nutrition. I'm going to be more likely to eat healthy options when I'm cooking it than when I go out or buy something. I don't like pre-made meals from the freezer. A lot of additives, not extremely nutritional, and not what I'm looking for, especially if I am racing. Like I said, the grocery store is my heaven when I travel. If I forgot something, I can go get it, but I stick to the core things that I would typically eat when I'm at home, and I go purchase them. And then once I get to the hotel room, I make sure I put all meals or whatever I took that needs to be refrigerated into the fridge. I have had times where something's gone bad and I just chuck it. It's not worth it to eat it and get sick. But then I can tell based on how it feels, how it smells, how it tastes, not going to risk it. Just chuck it. Definitely been to some places that were in the middle of nowhere where it was really hard to find a grocery store. It could have been Target. It could have been Walmart. Off-brand grocery store that I can't even think of. You just go to the market and I find the best options. I don't want to go out to eat, so I do my due diligence on Google Maps to find a place that's going to fit the needs of my travel. Now, when I'm going back home, because let's say I've eaten all my meals, what do I have? Usually I bring enough in my carry-on backpack of celery, cucumbers, green peppers, rice cakes that I have stuff for the ride back. Because a lot of the time I'm very conscious about the plane ride. As I said, sometimes I don't feel good and I need those snacks, so I over account for that. And if I run out, guess what? I'm going to hustle to the grocery store, get that for my plane ride back. One easy tip is don't eat the snack that they give you on the plane. In desperation, if I brought nothing, then I will. And I'll try to choose a healthy option if they have it. If it's just the cookies, usually I won't eat it because I'm not a fan of it. You want to be smart because all those little efforts I'm doing while I'm on the plane, while I'm on the travel, will help me with my training goals, with my physique, with what I want to accomplish with my performance. If I just throw to the wind, I'm not doing myself any favors. Which is just like the quote, success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. That does not mean I can't go out to eat at a restaurant if I want to. It's the consistency that I have in my daily life I am applying to my travel days. So that way the consistency stays consistent. Make sense? This one's super short and sweet because it's about that travel. What else do you need to know? Be smart with the options. Prepare by taking food options that fit your needs, your goals, your desires, that can easily be taken in a carry-on backpack. You choose how to be successful. So steer that course. Thanks for tuning in to The Flex with Aaliyah, and I'll catch you next time. Remember, like, subscribe, comment. Super appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.